You are most welcome. This is Ilberio Learning Desk. Subscribe this channel, please. Today we are going to see different approaches or definitions according to different philosophers. According to Aristotle, philosophy is a science which discovers the real nature of supernatural elements. This is Aristotle. That philosophy is a science which discovers the real nature of supernatural elements. While according to Arthur Schopenhauer, this is German philosopher, he comments that the two main requirements for philosophizing are first to have courage, not to keep any question back, and secondly, to attain a clear consciousness of anything that goes without saying so as to comprehend it as a problem. This is Schopenhauer, Arthur Schopenhauer. Another approach is that they generally agreed, all philosophers generally agreed that on definition of philosophy, what requires is the love and the seek after wisdom. So the love and the seek after wisdom. That means the lover of um, of wisdom is how this Pythagoras, the one who instituted this terminology, philosophers. Ancient philosophers were more interested in living well and happiness or tranquility of the soul. How Seneca insists that we have to remove all thoughts which are paining us. We should not think of those things which are giving us heart. So, ancient philosophers were more interested in living well and happiness or tranquility, which motivated the desiring wisdom. So, any philosopher, or if you wanted to be a philosopher, you should desire for wisdom. The wisdom is the one which will make you to act properly and good decision. Nietzsche, was a German also philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche. He says, philosophy is a tyrannical drive itself, the most spiritual will to power. The most spiritual will to power. So the power of what? The power of wisdom. The power of getting new knowledge. The power of getting new insights. The power of moving you from backward to forward. This is Nietzsche. So Robert Ginsburg, he, on philosophy, he says, philosophy is a creative art of making problems. Philosophy is a creative art of making problems. It explores alternative possibilities of dealing with a problem. So philosophy is there to deal with the problems of the societies in different spheres, in the political sphere, or in the ethics or moralities, and all religion wise. So philosophy is there to help us. John Dewey, this I like, the man of philosophy of education. I did the thesis in the philosophy comparing with the Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere when I was completing my philosophical studies in the 3 years there, Kibosho uh, Philosophical uh, College there. I just made a comparison of John Dewey approach with the Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, our father of national here, Tanzania, on the formal education and the informal education. So I like this philosopher. He is also a psychologist, this John Dewey, Englishman. John Dewey says, philosophy is there to clarify problems. So philosophy is there to clarify problems. Philosophy is there to solve problems. The problems of our societies, the problems of our world, the problem on the universal level, and so forth. You are just following this the lecture number 2. I'm just lecturing on the importance or significance of philosophy in our daily lives. Law of Akhras, Law says it is meant to grasp the time in thoughts. So Rolf says philosophy is meant to grasp the time in thoughts. Heidegger, the philosopher, uh, gives another definition on philosophy. He says, philosophy is an extraordinary inquiry into extraordinary inquiry. So philosophy gives you an art of solving approaches or solving problems in different approaches. Heidegger, the philosopher, says philosophy is an extraordinary inquiry into extraordinary. John Shand, on philosophy, he says philosophy is a body of truths. It makes a person courageous and open to ask any question about the entire human person and the universe. So philosophy becomes you. It gives you a courage and a freedom to ask you different questions, so that you may get answers for the particular questions of particular problems for perfection. So philosophy is there to perfect your thoughts. Philosophy is there to perfectize your mind. Philosophy is there to perfectize your mentality. That's why when we are dealing with the branches of philosophy on the part of logic, when we shall see logic later on the third class or fourth class or the other class, we shall see on logic. Logic is the medicine of our thoughts. Logic is the medicine of our minds. Logic chases uh, all what uh, we call prejudices, because the prejudices are the are the diseases of the mind. Prejudices are the disease of mindset. So the prejudices can stop you to achieve a certain goal, because prejudices are just putting the wall to focus forward. So the prejudices, we shall see what are the prejudices. So the prejudices are wrong notions which are generated from one person to another person, or prejudices are wrong notions from one generation to another generation, or prejudices are the wrong notions which are cultivated to the society against another society, or to the race against another race. Let us say that we can say all blacks are dirty men, all blacks. That is a prejudice. But also, if you say all white men are hateful, or are what as racial, uh, what they discriminate people. When we say so, that is prejudice. So prejudice is a wrong notion which is imparted to a person or to the society, which is not true. So prejudice is wrong notion. Prejudice is a disease. So philosophy is meant to remove that prejudice thoughts in people. We can say white women are not beautiful. When we say white women are not beautiful, that is a prejudice. Yeah, so that is a wrong notion. Oh, black girls are beautiful. Sometimes that is a prejudice also. So that is così così in Italian, 50-50. So we can conclude with this lecture that generally philosophy is meant to build your mind, to sharpen your mind, but to correct your thoughts. This is Rebellion Learning Desk. Subscribe this channel, please.